What's all this business about Goldbach levels?
When I worked on the trading floor at Goldman Sachs and then in strategic investments at JP Morgan, there was a phrase that I kept hearing over and over again. And it would happen once a year. And then it didn't make sense to me back then, but it does now. So that phrase was sell in May and walk away. Okay, so what's the date today? May the 1st, 2024. And what does sell in May and walk away actually imply if you filter it through the lens of ICT trading? Okay, it's seasonal tendency. Sell in May and walk away is a fragment of seasonal tendency. Now, in today's teaching on Goldback, I'm going to show you how I'm in a swing short position on the Dow Jones based purely off of Goldback and time. Okay, because you need time and price. Whenever you have a trade, time and price need to come together. Okay, so this is the chart. This is the US 30 on the daily chart. Okay, so as you can see, from November, or the end of October really, we had a massive pump. And now we're having this dip. So I'm going to show you how I caught this dip and I'm still in this trade. Okay, because I had my targets on when I went to TP. Now, none of this video is financial advice. You should not be putting on trades just because you see a random person on YouTube talking about patterns on a chart. Okay, this is purely for entertainment and educational purposes only. Okay, but as you know, I am a firm believer in Goldback, right? So let me show you how the Dow Jones Industrial Average Index is obeying Goldback, right? Now, first, in order to put on any Goldback trade, you really need to understand the power of three the asset is moving in. So as a recap, what Goldback defines is the dealing ranges price will move through and the algorithms that will play to get from the low of the dealing range to the high, or maybe from the high of the dealing range to the low. Okay, if you would like more information on Goldback, I have over 100 videos on my channel explaining Goldback. And if you would like to download the official Goldback book by Hoppy, there's a link to that in the description also. If you would like to learn how to trade Goldback using my golden bullet trading strategy, there's a link to my mentorship below. Now, my mentorship material not only teaches you how to trade fixed Goldback dealing ranges, but I also have the dynamic golden bullet, which allows you to trade dynamic Goldback dealing ranges. Now, dynamic Goldback dealing ranges I will never talk about publicly on YouTube. But that's what I primarily use for my short-term trading, is the dynamic Goldback dealing ranges. Okay, so now going back to US 30, okay, let me show you how it's obeying Goldback. Right, if we go to the weekly time frame, there we go. So can you see this pump? And there's been so many imbalances that have been left with no retracement. Now, what does Michael tell us about what the market does? The market purely moves to address imbalances and to seek liquidity. Okay, that's how the market moves. So the fact that we pumped so hard, leaving all these imbalances, is inefficient for the market. Okay, so bear that in mind. Now, what power of three is the Dow Jones running on the higher time frame, on the weekly chart? Okay, so the Goldback indicator I prefer is this one, AMD Power of 3 Goldback Levels. Okay, really cool developer, cool guy. He's developing it all the time. Some of the feedback that I've given him, he's put into the indicator, and he's also enhancing it right now. So give this indicator a favorite so you can use this one and follow along with me. So we load up the indicator. The Dow Jones is running on the 6561. There you go. So now can you see this? Okay. So what does Goldback tell us? It tells us the dealing ranges price moves from. It defines the low, the high, the equilibrium, and also where all of the PDRAs will form. So it tells us the order block will form somewhere between the 0.03 and the 0.11. The fair value gap will be between the 11 and 17. Liquidity void, breaker, mitigation block, equilibrium. And then, so these are all the bullish PDRAs, and then you'll have the bearish ones. Bearish mitigation block, bearish breaker block, bearish fair value gap, bearish order block, bearish rejection block, and then the high. Now there are two algorithms that I described in Hoppy's book. Okay, algorithm 1 and algorithm 2. Now algorithm 2 is always easier to spot. Okay, so what does algorithm 2 tell us? Algo 2 states that price will move from the rejection block down to the breaker block. It will retrace to the fair value gap. Okay, and then it will terminate at the opposing order block. Okay, this is algo 2. Now, what have we seen price do? Okay, so firstly, if we look down here, what is this down close candle? Okay, this down close candle is an order block. Okay, and it's in the order block GB level. And then we had a pump. Okay, normally these pumps without retracements are market maker models. Right, you just don't get a chance to catch them. Right, you don't get a chance to catch them on the way up. But for those who trade market maker models, you know you can catch them many times on the way down. Okay, you can catch them many times on the way down. Now, let's have a look. What do we have here? This up close candle is an order block, and it's formed in the order block partition. Let me zoom in for you guys. What do we have here? There is your fair value gap, and it is in the fair value gap partition. So what did we have? Up to the rejection block, down to the breaker block, retrace to the fair value gap, and the logical conclusion of algo 2 is the opposing order block. Okay, now none of this is financial advice. If you are in trades like this, you may want to TP at other places, and I teach you the right way to trade Goldback. Okay, so the trade that you could have taken, knowing this, would have been something like this. Maybe you want to have your stop above this imbalance candle. So you would have come off here. So already you would be at 1R. So you've made your initial investment back. It's up to you whether you set your stop loss to break even or anything like that. We have FOMC later today, and we have NFP on Friday. Okay, so we're not out of the woods yet, because anything can happen when it comes to FOMC and NFP, because they are manual events. Here's some liquidity that you could take it off of. There's your equal lows. Okay, so that'll give you a 2R. Okay, you might want to take it off of this order block that's formed at equilibrium. That will be a 3.2R trade. And if you are ballsy, and you think that the US economy is in free fall and we're having a stock market crash, then of course you would take it off at the opposing order block. 7R trade. And there is your order block in the order block partition. So do you understand the power of Goldback? Okay, there are two versions of Goldback. Okay, there are the fixed Goldback dealing ranges. Sorry, I'm getting quite excited because I'm in this trade myself. So every time it drops, it's like, wow. So you would have seen in my previous video, I did a very similar trade on GBP USD where I went short. And that was my full account on one of my trading accounts. Okay, so it wasn't my full personal wealth, but that particular account, I put everything on it. And I've already TP'd and exited. And I'm doing a similar trade with this one. Okay, so half of the profit from that trade has gone into this short. So we are just dumping nicely, which is quite exciting. Many of you may be thinking, oh, this is hindsight analysis, Cam. This is hindsight analysis. Okay, so this is my private trading group. Okay. I was posted this on the 22nd of April. Okay, there's no edits, so that's the post. I'm not going to scroll anymore because there's too much information, which I don't share publicly, but there's the chart. So you can see the date. You can clearly see the date of this chart, 22nd of April. And it's the exact same chart, but it was when I was just about to take the trade. Because you see, it's coming up to that fair value gap. And the power of 3 is down here. Might be a bit blurry to see because I can't zoom in. 6561, exactly the same. So I signaled this to my group also, as well as my GU trade. So go check out my GU trade. Right, there's a lot of gems, obviously, in my mentorship. So I'm not going to do any more scrolling. But this is how you can get into very, very high probability trades. So I like having these swing trades running. It's just a way to make money while you sleep. And then during the day, I'm scalping using my lower time frame dynamic golden bullet. So it's always nice when you wake up in the morning and you've made X amount more off of a swing trade. Okay. Now, none of this is financial advice, but you've seen my 100 plus, well, you may have seen my 100 plus YouTube videos. Okay. This isn't a one-off. This is what we do every day. If you would like to join my mentorship program, there's a link in the description to this video.